My buddy ran into a thorn bush during a cross-country race, and our teammate cussed him out instead of helping him. This was the beginning of sophomore or junior year of cross-country season. And our first unofficial race to start the season was this thing called the alumni race. All the alumni from our high school who ran cross-country and were still in shape and stuff would come back. They'd put a team together and race our cross-country team. It wasn't a big deal for them, but for us it was very competitive because it was just to kind of see where you rank on the cross-country team as far as, are you going to be a varsity runner, JV guy, open guy, where you really suck. Like, it really was just to see where you stand on the teams. It was very important for the kids who were still in high school on the team. We ran up in Devou Park in Park Hills or Covington, wherever the hell it is. We had this crazy course you would run in and out of like the Frisbee golf fields and through all these super tight, narrow, rocky, steep up and down nature trails in and out across the roads. Like, it was a crazy ass course to run through. Like, it kind of made you a man for cross country, I guess you could say. This particular season, our buddy Beef had a tough season. He actually had thyroid issues, but we didn't know what the issue was because this was before it was diagnosed. So during races and practices, he would just get super lightheaded, dizzy. He said he would get like double vision, almost hallucinating, get super out of control, run into shit, wander off, and just be super disoriented. And we didn't know what was going on. This is the event that caused us to figure out what was going on with Beef. We run this brutal, all kinds of steep hills up and down course. Me and all my buddies from our class finished. It's my buddy Matt, me, Griff, 7'5", all the guys that we were friends with on the cross-country team finished. Beef was usually a middle-of-the-pack runner. Another one of our friends that year, we'll call him Lenny, our trap van driver. He had a rough year as well. He was coming off a stress fracture in his shin. He had all kinds of shin split issues. Beef and Lenny both had a really tough start to this season of cross-country. When you finished our race, you went through this open field, came around into this like horseshoe nature trail up this steep ass hill, then you sprinted in. So it was a brutal finish to the race. And when you would get done, you would wait at the edge of this super steep hill and just kind of cheer in whoever was running. Well, all of our teammates finish. Then you start getting a lot of older alumni, and I'm talking like mid-30s, early 40s-year-old dudes that start finishing. And unless you're like a freak of nature who still runs, 5-6 miles a day, you shouldn't be beating a high school kid. But once we started having those age group of alumni coming in, me and my buddies are like, okay, something's wrong. Like, where are Beef and Lenny? So me and my buddies start making our way down this nature trail to see if somebody fell, because Beef's issues of getting disoriented and passing out and stuff aside, that's a tough course, and you would have a lot of falls and injuries on that course. We go down into the nature trail. We see Lenny sprinting at us. So we start cheering, "Come on, Lenny. Hey, where's Beef? Where's Beef?" And he's like, "Fuck you." And he's saying all this crazy shit to us. "Fuck him." And we're like, wait, what? And he sprints past. And he's like out of breath. He's like, "That motherfucker." And he's like saying all this crazy shit to us. And we're like, what? What? And he just sprints on past and finishes the race. Now we're like, did something happen between Lenny and Beef? We're concerned now, so we kind of start jogging, and as we turn the corner down this nature trail, Beef is screaming for help, and he's in all these bushes, like this brush pile, okay? There was a split off on this nature trail. One way was a dead end into a pile of shit that's usually blocked off, but since we made the course, like it was our home meet in Devou Park, everybody knew not to go that way. Well, Beef had one of his disoriented spells and ran straight off the nature trail into this dead end and ran into like one of those picker thorn bush things. It was huge. And when he ran into it, he tried to keep running, and it just kind of wrapped around him. He was all cut up and bloody all over, like his legs, his back, his chest, arms. The whips of Christ all over this man. I mean, there's slavery whips. This man is just cut to death. And we're like, oh my God, Beef. So we go running over. We're like pulling these thorn bushes off. Guys are dragging him out. We drag him out. He's bloody everywhere. Like, what happened? He's like, I don't know. I don't know. Well, he said he had one of his double vision disoriented moments. Well, when he was in there, he said he was so pissed because he said he's in there trying to back out of these rose bushes. Lenny comes running by and he was like, Lenny, help me, help me. And Lenny was like, fuck you, motherfucker. Lenny thought that Beef was making fun of him. So I don't know if Lenny was disoriented himself, but Lenny thought that Beef was mocking him or joking around. He thought Beef was already done running and was just screwing around after the race. So Lenny said, fuck, I'm miserable during the last stretch of my race. I think that Beef's screwing around, messing around because he's done running. So I just cussed him out. So literally Beef was like, Beef said he's screaming, Lenny, help, help. And Lenny goes, fuck you, motherfucker, you son of a bitch. And then ran past. And we knew it was true because when Lenny ran past us, he was like, fuck him, that son of a bitch. And was screaming all this crazy shit. We were like, what are you screaming about, dude? Like, what are you so mad about? Where's Beef? And he was just sprinted in. So it was total chaos. We get Beef out. We literally had to have a guy on each arm, like, walk Beef across the finish line so it counted as finished. But, like, his jersey's all cut up. His whole body was cut up. It really was one of the wildest things I've ever experienced in a cross-country race. And it was so funny because all of our alumni are checking on him, parents are checking on him, and they're, like, putting disinfectant shit on his wounds, like trying to clean up. Our coach does nothing. Our coach is like, hey, he should have paid more attention. We're like, nah, coach, like something's wrong with Beef. Like this has been happening. Like this just happened a couple weeks ago. I almost got hit by a car because he was all disoriented. Like we should probably figure out what's going on with Beef. So that was just hilarious. And the best part about Beef, his parents did not want him to go right after the alumni trip. We have this end of summer canoe trip for the team. It was a blast. And his parents were trying to not let him go because they wanted to diagnose what he had going on with this thyroid shit where he would almost get double vision and pass out and all this crazy shit. And they were worried about all his cuts in the water because we did a canoe trip on the Licking River, which is like a runoff of the Ohio or a tributary to the Ohio, I don't know, something like that. So he was like, I'm going on the fucking canoe trip. And the stories we have from the canoe trip, those are all podcasts for another day. That story has to be the funniest in cross-country moment that we ever had. Like, don't get me wrong. We had a lot of funny-ass stories from practices and stuff that happened outside of the sport. But as far as in the sport running, that was so hilarious because to this day, I can still picture this thick brush pile in the middle of the woods. And I can picture our buddy Beef screaming for help and our other friend being like, fuck you, motherfucker. You son of a bitch. So, and that was hilarious. Like, Beef and Lenny had to work that out for like a week or so because Beef was like, he's cussing me out. Like, he's happy that he's passing me. And Lenny's like, no, I was cussing him out because I thought he was making fun of me. So it was like this huge miscommunication. And really all Beef needed was some help getting pulled out of the bushes. And the best was Lenny totally stood by his story. He's like, nah, that's bullshit. Like, I'm in the middle of my race. I'm not just going to stop running to go help some kid who can't figure out which way he's supposed to fucking turn. It was just comedy. Depending on which way you look at it, like, yeah, you probably should help your teammate. But at the same time, like, cross country is a time sport. So I don't fault Lenny because we were always messing around. That was our friend group. So I can totally see why Lenny thought Beef was screwing around. I can totally see why Lenny didn't want to stop to help him. If his time's already slow because he's injured, you don't want to make it any slower by dragging Beef out of a rose bush. So I don't blame Lenny in either circumstance. I can see why Beef is pissed off. But at the end of the day, it made for one of the funniest cross-country stories, one of my favorite core memories from cross-country season. I don't have a lesson or a serious point to make on this episode, but I will say, just from the standpoint of memories from high school, I do hope people understand, like, there is a difference between being stuck in high school or college versus having good friends and good memories. To anyone who's still in high school or college, I would just say to make the most of it. Just be present and enjoy it. You're going to have time to figure out your career. You're going to have time to figure out what your big purpose is in life. All that stuff comes at some point in your life, and it comes at different stages in time for everybody. But what I would say about all that is, like, especially in today's society where everyone's forcing you to figure your life out so quick, and there's this big push to like get it done, get it done, get it done, figure it out. It's like being present and just embracing those moments and making those memories and really just making those friends and figuring out like who's genuinely in your circle, who's genuinely going to be there for you. That's just as important as figuring out what you're supposed to do with your life or what your purpose is, because you'll never have peace in your life if you're not able to be present and just enjoy the moment. And I'm saying that because I have wonderful memories from college. I have wonderful memories from high school. And I don't feel like I have as many good memories from and moments like that from my early 20s because I got so caught up in having to figure out, okay, what's my job going to be? Oh shit. Okay, what's my purpose in life? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like all this stuff that you stress about, and it eats up your thought process, and it changes the way that you go about your day, and you're stressed out all the time. I would highly recommend not doing that to yourself, because there is a lot of power in just being present and enjoying the moment and making those memories and those friends. Because high school, college, at the end of the day, every part of life that you think you're stuck in is just a phase. It's just a phase of life. It's a chapter in the timeline, right? But the people that you meet, the impact that you guys have, the memories you make, those last forever. Like to this day, I still have good friends from every stage of my life. And when we get together, we make new memories. So I guess all that to say is just don't stress so much about what's coming next or worry or dwell on what's already happened in your life. Just focus on the fact that, hey, your eyes opened in the morning. Life, no matter how good or bad you think you have it, I promise life is not that bad. Just embrace each moment. Understand that everything that you're going through is happening for a reason. And just be present. Being present will help figure out all those problems and answers that you think you need. Just being present, living in the moment, and making the most of the little things. I do think that's like 90% of figuring out what you're supposed to do in life and who you're supposed to be. So that's my spiel on here from Talks with Tom today. I appreciate everybody who's followed and subscribed. Like I said, I'm just going to keep grinding and going to keep putting these stories out and just see where it takes me. So I hope everybody's well. New studio. We're in a new crib now. So we got a lot of work to do in here, but hopefully in about a month or so, you guys will be like, damn, he in a legit podcast studio, because that's what I'm working on making. So that's today's episode. I hope everybody's well, and we'll be back soon. Talks with Tom. Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more. I was riding around town thinking to myself, is it gonna get easier? I'll be up and away up the street and bake, but I can't even breathe no more. What's it to me? What can I see? Taking shots by the lake till I can't even breathe no more, see no more. My buddy ran into a rose bush during a cross-country